Denver Broncos Mile High View. No commercials, no bull crap. Um, this this podcast is going to be about hope versus opium, and what has happened since the firing of Vic Fangio seems like, if you really look into it, you dial down into it, it looks like more false promises ahead. More false promises. What I want to what I want to ask the other online platforms, and I want the sports talk radio to be held accountable on. You keep talking about Aaron Rodgers because you're drunk off of it. You got kegs of Aaron Rodgers Kool-Aid, and oh, how this would happen if Aaron Rodgers comes here, how this would happen if Aaron Rodgers that. But not one of you has explained to me or to Aaron Rodgers the argument why Denver Broncos, as opposed to any other place he could go. Have not heard one compelling argument for him to come to the Broncos outside of supposed relationship with a tight ends coach, which really, in my opinion, is unsubstantiated. We don't know. I don't know who his best friends are. And what does that have to do with his best situation? Nothing. The Denver Broncos have so many needs to fill. Even Hackett himself wouldn't go into the bubble here and with this one quarterback away nonsense, where even sports talk radio had to distance themselves from that because Hackett nor the GM, the Peyton, is going with this one quarterback away BS. So I would just like to hear one compelling argument that you could make to bring Aaron Rodgers outside of a giant bribe and a bribe to the Green Bay Packers, a huge bribe, where he could go to some place like Tampa, Pittsburgh, or places that are very well established, don't have to, they could get those few pieces in free agency, and he could bring in Devontae Adams. I haven't heard one solid argument to Aaron Rodgers that would sell him on bringing in here. All they've done so far is sell themselves on this hopium. And the way I see this football team was put together, number one, John Elway, it's just a fact. John Elway meddled when George Payton went Dan Quinn. That was cut off at the knees, and you got Hackett. We could have brought, if you wanted an offensive mind, you could have got somebody else. Oh no, we're going to go and get the guy. We're going to get his best friend. I'm sure this was a Dove Valley. Something was put out by Dove Valley on this, because it's more what I call hopium from John Elway. This whole mess that, in my opinion, it's a mess because there's no identity. There's no really identity. Matter of fact, they even have said we're going to get away from defensive identity. We don't even have an offensive identity. So let's do this. Let's not have a defensive identity and just get spaghetti and throw it against the wall as our game plan and see what happens. I just see this really backfiring in every way on the Denver Broncos and their fans. What do you think about all this crap I just laid out?
To piggyback off of what you said, to the online platforms that are, like you said, on the hopium and their kegs are in a row about Aaron Rodgers. I just want to say this to STR and the online platforms. Please stop providing false information, because what you're doing is you're trying to mask what you know, and what you know is Aaron Rodgers isn't coming here, but you're masking something that you think that you hope is going to come here. Aaron Rodgers isn't coming here. Okay, I said it since I've stuck by it since day one of draft night, since Mark Schlereth, since our 2 videos ago, since we exposed the whole operation that was behind that whole thing. And when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, I know for a fact that he doesn't want to come here. I mean, he I believe he is smart enough. I think he has more than just 2 brain cells in his head to understand that this organization isn't built correctly. This organization is unstable from the top down. Okay. We don't have an owner in place. I don't care about the reports that this owner is going to buy this. The guy that has been meddling since day one is John Elway, and he is still in that organization. Like you said, Dan Cohen was probably the front runner to be the Broncos head coach. And what did John Elway do? Cut the knees from under George Paton on that one. We saw it in free agency. We saw it play out in free agency last year when we were signing just all the money towards receivers, these 2 receivers that haven't really done much in the league. Okay, we're gonna pay a combined $85 million, and we're gonna keep those 2 guys in the hopes that we get Aaron Rodgers. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna restructure Graham Glasgow's contract without even having a head coach in place to understand that, oh, maybe Graham Glasgow doesn't fit our system. Okay. That goes with your offensive identity that we do not have currently. Okay. We have no identity on offense nor on defense. Okay. Nor on special teams, nor in this organization do we have an identity. Okay. George Paton since day one has been Elway's bitch. We've been saying that since the very beginning. Okay. Me and you have been in front of everyone in terms of we saw it last year also play out in the draft. Who was it that picked Patrick Surtain? It wasn't George Paton. It has come out time and time again per the Denver Post and Mike Kliss that said that pick, and George Paton himself, that pick was John Elway's pick.
Was John Elway's pick.
I don't want to hear this overarching criticism of George Paton when you have to hold the person that's accountable. Who hired George Paton? Who hired Vic Fangio? Who hired Nathaniel Hackett? The man that is the director of player personnel, because they had to get rid of the GM title because this man right here exposed it. Congratulations. I give you congrats on that. But at the end of the day, everything falls and lays at the feet of John Elway himself.
Oh, we're going to take this moment to award you a prize. You earned a prize for getting kicked off Mile High Huddle. We are going to award you a prize. We're getting you this yacht. You've been awarded that yacht,
and that hopium is just running through my veins right now. Oh, wow.
We figure this is a great prize. You live in a landlocked state, so you'll be able to enjoy that, I'm sure. And yes, you can. Schwab and Sons Cock Rocket Emporium would like to honor you with that yacht.
Yeah. So, and these lakes near me are just going to be in fine use of that yacht. It's just going to be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it should work out really well for you. So. But you actually got kicked off because you remind them all the false promises that they made, and they don't like you doing that. They don't like you reminding them over and over all the bullshit that they've shoveled out. And of course, nobody there can hold them accountable because you know how psychology works. They'll. It's like, I don't know, the Orwell thing. If just spoon feed me the crap I want to hear. I don't care how much you lie to me, but you tell me this, I'm being lied to. I hate you.
Yeah. And it's okay for their followers to come on here and tell us how stupid and dumb we are. It's okay.
That's when they're good. When they're bad, they start reporting, give us YouTube false reports of things that we didn't even say.
Yeah.
And then YouTube looks into it and said, this is bullshit. So
yep.
Time and time again, we're proven we're right, even though it's not what you wanted to hear. And I just feel that this whole go all out is perverted, I think, coming from them, because me and you were the go all out. We're the ones that say go all out and start building this thing properly, no matter who your friggin' quarterback is. You don't wait for your unicorn to come through and then act like it's 2015 all over again. Start living in the real world, realize where you are, and what has happened is this whole thing is a John Elway production all the way. I mean, everything says, look, Aaron Rodgers, we set this up that you can just like hop off of this rock, which is Green Bay, and hop onto our rock because we have a couple of your guys. Well, that's not an argument. That's not an argument. I say if Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers decides to part ways, it'll be similar to the Stafford deal, where the demands will be. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers, you can go where you want, and I have not heard one compelling argument from a Bronco fan. They all they do is talk to themselves about how great it would be to have Aaron Rodgers there, for instance. And I don't see where you made an argument for him to come here. There's when you compare it to what the other teams can offer. Sure, maybe you can give him the best bribe, best case scenario, the best bribe, and Green Bay the best bribe. But maybe Aaron Rodgers wants to go to Tampa. Maybe he wants to go somewhere else for a lot of other reasons, stability, a better chance. I don't see this organization right now. I mean, you got a bunch of coaches that are trying to mishmash stuff together. That's not appealing. I don't see where that would be appealing to somebody like Kyler Murray or Aaron Rodgers, something like that. And this is my take on Kyler Murray. It seems like soon as some kind of riffraff is happening between a quarterback and their organization, these toxic, quarterback hungry, drunken SOBs calling themselves Bronco fans immediately knee jerk into, he's coming here. He's coming here. Complete insanity. You've lost your friggin' mind. I know that these fans here, if Kyler Murray started to not live up to the expectations, he's not the answer. He's not the answer. And we would be eating all this to get him over here, for instance, same with drafting a quarterback. Okay, you get this guy from Pitt, and then we get into this Cleveland Brown gerbil wheel, If this guy from Pitt, which has everything stacked up against anybody who's here as a quarterback, in my opinion, based on the fact that we have no stability here at all, that you get this guy from Pitt, and he's not Patrick Mahomes his first year. You're going to hear it. We got to get rid of him. And it's just this. We got to get away from that as an organization. So, I mean, for me and you, we're really just waiting for the ownership thing to take care of itself, and then figure out what we got after that. Did Elway's group win out? First of all, are we going to get rid of that cancer? Then we got to worry about if we just got rid of one cancer for another cancer. That's the second thing we got to figure out, because, as much as we don't want Elway, we want him out of here. That doesn't mean we're out of the woods if we get rid of him. So this whole ridiculous, and they all jump and they all just, again, it's a bubble. Once one guy says something, go all out. This turns into a thing, But I think me and you were the first ones to say go all out when everybody laughed at us. No matter who your quarterback is, why don't we go all out by getting the right owner, go all out and come up with a philosophy of what we're going to do, who we're going to be, unified. Not, he's over there doing this person's over there doing that, we'll grab this, throw it in there. We don't really know what we are, so we're just going to shake the dice and just throw it, the spaghetti against the wall. That seems to be, that's the John Elway way of doing things. So I think until we can get people like the Huddle and people like Sports Talk Radio to be pissed off because they don't like, doing it right, having patience. That's another thing about going all out. You got to have patience. You got to have patience to go all out. You should have went all out with Locke. You should have went all out with Teddy Bridgewater. You should have went all out with Case Keenum. But you guys can't do it. You guys, you're toxic. You have no patience. And it's not just us. Everybody around the league knows this. Everybody around the league, which comes back to Aaron Rodgers. That is not the kind of environment this guy wants to come to. Why would he? I agree with you. I think that if he does come here, I'm not 100% saying he won't. It would have to be an incredible bribe to get him here. An incredible bribe that the Broncos would be eating for a long time. And that's my 2 cents.
So when I'm listening to you, this one thing pops up in my head, this light bulb pops up into my head, and it's a big old clusterfuck. I don't mean to say that in terms of what I want to say about this organization, because I want this organization to be great again. I want this organization to go back to the ways that I understood it when I was growing up to be a Broncos fan. That's why I wanted to join this channel with you, obviously. But this light bulb just pops up in my head. It's a big old clusterfuck. And like when it comes to this coaching staff, it comes to the quarterback rumors with Kyler Murray, with Aaron Rodgers, with Kenny Pickett, with all these quarterbacks that, quite frankly, I don't even know if Aaron Rodgers and Kyler Murray want to come to this organization, to be quite frank with you. And to the Aaron Rodgers argument size that you are bringing up, and I think it's a valid point, there, people are bringing up the 2012. Oh, this is like 2012 season all over again. Mind you, we had an owner in Pat Bowlen. We had a stable scouting department. We had a stable organization. We had a plethora of player personnel, especially on the lines, that Adam Peters, and you already brought in John Fox, who was a damn good coach at the time, a culture resetter at the time. Yet you had foundational pieces already in place. You had that great offensive line that Josh McDaniels drafted. You had that. You had better receivers in Demaryius Thomas, Eric Decker, Jabbar Gaffney, Julius Thomas, who was coming into his own. You had Virgil Green. No guys that no one wants to talk about that you already had in place. And on the defensive side, you had Malik Jackson developing. You had Derek Wolfe developing. You had Von Miller developing. You had Wesley Woodyard, Joe Mays, Danny Trevathan, Brandon Marshall in your linebacking core that no one wants to bring up. So at the end of the day, why would Aaron Rodgers want to leave a developmental place in Green Bay and come to an undevelopmental place in Denver? You guys can't provide that argument to me. You guys will bring up that 2012 roster. This 2012 roster doesn't even compare to that. This roster currently in 2022 doesn't compare to the roster in 2012, because you guys like to live in that bubble that my partner is holding up right now.
They don't live in the real world.
Of course.
They simply don't live in the real world. This is why they're toxic. They actually don't. It feels to them, because basically they're repeating. It's wash, rinse, repeat. But this repeat is going to be different. This wash is going to be different than the last one just a little while ago. Don't worry. Think 2012. Think 2012. Think 2012. And all of a sudden they just start. They can't get out of this, right? Because that would be outside of that is reality.
So Justin, so let me get this straight, okay? As a Bronco fan, you remember the 2012 season, so do I. Does Justin Simmons compare to a Raheem Moore or a TJ Ward or a Mike Adams? And you
not even close. Not even close.
Like, I don't understand. Like, this is another thing. Like, this goes into the culture that me and you, that they don't have. Okay, we know a culture when we see it. Me and you and other fans out there that actually have a clue. But when it comes to this culture that you, Mile High Huddle, STR, DNVR, you guys think you have, please tell me what the foundation is. Justin Simmons, why do you guys he is not a top 5 safety. Other people around the league do not view Justin Simmons as a top 5 safety. Okay? That all pro thing supplanted what me and you have been saying for the past 2 years about this guy. He is not a top 5 safety. He is no Mika Fitzpatrick. He is no Derwin James. He is no Marcus Williams, who's a free agent, who is going to be a free agent this year. So, guys, I don't understand the love of Justin Simmons. I just don't get it. I don't understand the love for that man whatsoever. That goes to John Elway players specifically. Just want to make.
Oh, he's totally a John Elway player, and they've positioned him to take over Von Miller's media representative. Now, I know that Dan Quinn likes to clean house. Yep. Okay, I'm not saying that Dan Quinn was the answer, because I think the problems are way above all that. But he does like to clean house. And do you think for a minute he's going to hiding Justin Simmons on the field?
No, because a Dan Quinn type defense doesn't. Okay, my apologies. A Dan Quinn defense, in terms of what Justin Simmons' position is, it's a free safety. Justin Simmons doesn't fit a Dan Quinn defense because Dan Quinn's free safety defense is what it is a free safety in a Dan Quinn defense. You have to be very instinctive, and you also have to be fast in your sets. And Justin Simmons is not that whatsoever.
No, he's just the opposite of that, and that's why
Williams is exactly that for the New Orleans Saints. Just want to provide that. That's a guy that I'd go after. I would have paid him the big money instead of Justin Simmons.
Yeah, I don't other than he's the spokesperson. John always bet, this. What was the talk? What was the talk on Mr. Highlight Reels show with the former Denver Bronco that their players
players that don't need to be rewarded, and then the players that do need to be rewarded are like looking around going, what the hell's that? I've worked harder, I busted my ass more than this player, and you guys are giving him a buttload of money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a continuing thread I've seen over this organization over the past 6-7 years since Bolin and Adam Peters has been gone. Yeah. I don't understand the infatuation for Draymond Jones, a Shelby Harrison, Alexander Johnson, a Josie Jewell, a Justin Simmons, even Garrett Bowles, guys like that. That goes. Why would Aaron Rodgers want to come to that when you already have an Adrian Amos back there, a Darnell Savage on defense? You have a Kenny Clark, who's one of the most underrated defensive tackles in the league. You have the Smith brothers on the edge, which you have a better defense in Green Bay than you do in Denver, and you have a better offensive line in front of you with guys like a David Bakhtiari, an Elton Jenkins, a Jason Myers that they drafted out of Ohio State, a Billy Turner. Bronco fans, you remember Billy Turner? He started and actually played quite well at right tackle, and he's a versatile player at that. So don't give me the whole thing that, our player personnel is better than Green Bay. No, it's not. No, it is not.
Yeah, I mean, that's a starting point. Then you got to look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Colts. You got to look at Tampa.
Yeah. Yes.
So, I just doesn't seem feasible to me.
And me and him were the only people that saw this coming too. We were the only two people out there that saw this coming. We saw the hopium started to just be injected into their veins by these other online platforms that bring you false hope and false narratives. We saw that. We saw that coming. We saw that the Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock thing wasn't a competition. It was Teddy Bridgewater from the start. Thank you, John Elway. They buried two quarterbacks in 1 year. What a shocker. That is total Elway right there. Totally Elway.
Yeah. Did we not say that, that whole quarterback competition was BS from the go? And obviously it was the Cleveland Brown game brought all that to light. It brought to light the lies that were told that about they didn't want to give up a lock for Stafford when we know Stafford didn't want to come here. But they can't say that because that's the real world. That's not bubble land. That is the real world. And the other thing is we said, and we got it right, that they will bury Bridgewater. They will run him out of town, guarantee. And this is why the quarterback competition was going on. We predicted all this because, like you said, it's like War and Peace. This is easy stuff. You don't think that players around the league look at this? And then we got this Flores lawsuit thing going on too. And if this guy has just one text that says, "Oh, sorry, we're going to be a little late," or "We're sorry, we're not there yet," whatever, that's all it's going to take. Down goes the Elway ship. Okay, just one text is all it's going to take.
It's like this organization's a big old clusterfuck. Like, that's like the word that always comes to my head, big old clusterfuck.
Well, you can see it.
We can see it, but the bubble fans don't see it.
Well, how can you support a non-system like on defense? Well, we don't know what we're going to run. We'll just do whatever. Like, what? You don't have an identity?
You did, and then you let that man go because I've already went.
came and said, I got an offensive identity. He came out with an offensive identity. He said, this is what we're going to run. So, we have yet to see if that pans out. But he said he's got an offensive identity. So that's what he said. Day one, he has an identity.
Oh, man. Okay. The guy that never called plays in Green Bay, and you're trying to replicate the system that they're running in Green Bay. Okay.
Well, if we get Aaron Rodgers,
nothing's going to work until you get that offensive line fixed, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's boring to you people, but until we get that line fixed, and the person that went on sports talk radio after, what was it, the last game of the year or the game before the last game of the year, and told Sandy Clough that nothing's going to change until we get these lines fixed, even he agreed. Even he was like, oh, totally agree. Okay, so don't sit here and say that we're not the only ones that think this. Okay, there's other fans out there that understand our point of view in terms of nothing's going to change until we get offense and defensive line fixed, until Elway's just out of this organization. And just out of the organization, locked shut, can't come back in anymore.
Well, people I know that are fans of Pittsburgh, who's fans of Buffalo, who's fans of New Orleans, Kansas City, and on and on and on. This is what they say to me. You're telling me that your fans don't realize your lines are shit? And I'm like, no, they think they're fine. And they're like, wow, at least the Giants for the last couple of seasons have figured it out. Like, man, we can't keep plugging in new systems and asking these quarterbacks to, and there's no line help too. So they just by themselves are a lot further ahead. I think Detroit is actually further ahead than the Broncos.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Detroit is farther, head and shoulders ahead of us, because they went after and got Penei Sewell. They went after and got Logan Sternberg, Josh Jackson from Ohio State. They got Frank Ragnow, one of the best centers in football, and Taylor Decker, a very good pass pro left tackle. Okay, who's better than Garrett Bowles? I just don't want to, make that needs to be known here. And Garrett Bowles is not a top 5 left tackle. Okay. Dalton Reisner is not a top 5 left guard. Lloyd Cushenberry is sure as hell not a top 5 center. Graham Glasgow is sure as hell not a top 5 guard. And who's our right tackle? Bobby Massey, but he's a free agent. So
the aging Bobby Massey.
The aging right tackles that we've had since Orlando Franklin. And who drafted Orlando Franklin? It wasn't John Elway. It was Adam Peters. But don't talk about Adam Peters. Just talk about John Elway.
Well, I think the reason Elway is the way he is because he was handcuffed. Bolin had him on a leash. He had him on a leash. He didn't want Wade Phillips, if you remember.
Yep.
And they Bolin said, no, not Vance Joseph, please. Wade Phillips.
And we saw who was right. We saw who was right again, like always. That was Bolin.
That's what Elway was fed up with, is being, told, pump the brakes, Elway. And he wasn't going to have any of that. Hold on a second. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Okay, can you hold on? Yeah, it's on the kitchen table. It's where it belongs. Or on the counter. That's how the studio here works. The boss says something, you better answer.
Stop it! Stop it!
Yeah. Bonk on the head, Lovey Dovey.
Your Dungeons and Dragons.
Hey, you gotta get back. It's your turn. That's why we're real here. We're the real thing.
Yep.
And we're calling it like it is. We don't have to worry about what we say. We may not get that interview with Justin Simmons. We could care less. We just want the it to be said, and our track record is it's impeccable. And now it seems like we should pat ourselves, and we have every right to pat ourselves on the back. I mean, right now you have even Sports Talk Radio saying, yeah, these lines aren't really very good, and you think.
Yeah. You could have said it 6 years ago.
We could have got, you can't do anything with the meddler.
No.
Nobody can get anything done. George Payton can't get anything. Vic Fangio couldn't get anything done. Anyway, let's go back to what we were saying. What did the NFL say at that Senior Bowl game? The consensus is, why'd you fire Fangio? Why didn't you get yourself an offensive identity? You had a defensive identity. Why didn't you go out and get an offense? And I want to say, when everybody laughs about Detroit, when they comment, oh, what do you mean Detroit? You see their record? Okay. Who kept us in games? The guy you got rid of.
Yep.
The defense kept you in the games. While Shermer and his crap offense and
Elway.
Because that wasn't Shermer as much as Death Valley would like you to think that was Fangio, that was Elway, because Fangio was disconnected from the offense, and everybody knew that. But we also know that obviously Elway was never disconnected from that, from all the way back to Vance Joseph when he was doing the play-by-plays up in the booth. And I was asking, why is he running play-by-plays? And when I brought that out, after I put that video out there, a couple of times they showed him with the play-by-plays. He was nowhere to be seen after that, because he likes to hide. He likes to meddle, but he likes to hide. But you couldn't get anybody at Sports Talk or the other online platforms to point out, there's John Elway with a play-by-play.
Seems a joke.
Yeah, again, we have to get stability is what we have to get. We have to get an owner. We have to figure out where we are in ownership. Elway's got to go.
I know that process is going to take a long time, but man, I just want the process to hurry up, because I'm tired of this PR pushing for you guys just like to talk about quarterbacks, and yet it's a bigger picture than just the quarterbacks. Go to
a whole lot bigger. I just want to say something to you. The Carolina Panthers, actually, the deal was done in April. I sent you the link. Then it was finalized in May, not July. It was finalized in May. So I don't know why. I think the NFL has given the Broncos till September. So I mean, it could be during training camp.
Great.
But I don't think it's looking good for Elway. I think. What's that?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You said you hope not.
I hope Elway's gone. Do I believe? I have to see it to believe it.
Me too.
You people were you people were the very people that said that Elway is not going to meddle when George Payton is hired. And look what happened. We were right once again. You people were also the same people that said he is not going to meddle when Fangio is hired. This is the last chance we're going to give him. And then you guys just extended the red carpet more and more and more.
And explain who those guys are. You say you guys. Explain.
STR, DNVR, KOA, just all the suspects that you would expect.
Usual suspects, yeah. And then every bit garbage that everybody listens to. Oh, get that. Opium.
Yeah. Every time I bring up Matthew Stafford's a shoo-in for Mile High Huddle, instantly just my comment and I just go away because I'm blocked on their fucking channel.
Well, they don't want to be reminded. They don't want, but the sad part isn't you getting taken off a Mile High Huddle. The sad thing is there's not enough people holding these people accountable. You guys come here and yell at us because you just simply don't want to hear the facts. When they come out and turn out to be the facts, again, we were right about Elway meddling again. It's our fault somehow. We're the bad guys because we're trying to explain to you, if you would actually listen, if you would actually, and not even believe us, just sit back, see what happens.
Do your own research. Is that hard to do?
Well, I mean, when you said they don't have an identity on defense, they're putting that out, that we're going to try this, we're going to try that. You're going to defend that? Why would you defend that?
You had to defend identity under Fangio. He was the one that was keeping you in games, and then you fired his ass because
Well,
you just didn't like who he was.
well, let's just cut that out of the equation.
Well,
Let's
it
not.
doesn't.
Let's
Okay.
cut that out. Let's cut that out of the equation. Let's just cut Fangio completely out of the equation. You're going to hire a coach that has no identity, that comes out and says, "I'm not going to do what I've always done." No, I'm going to just kind of play it by ear and figure it out. Why would you hire that person?
Wade
That's
Phillips still out there. Vic Fangio's still out there. I know we won't bring him back, but
you
you know,
you will not see Wade. Well, Fangio is going to be gone sooner. He's not. He would never come back here. And he'll be sucked up. But Wade Phillips cannot come back here until Elway's gone. Even as a consultant, he's not going to be here until Elway is gone. Elway will not permit it. So
fuck you, El.
yeah, so Elway has to be completely ripped out of this organization, like you said, as far as any decision making is concerned.
And this is another problem, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the Super Bowl's tomorrow. Okay, and I'm going to tell you something: is Raheem Morris calling the plays in for that defense, or is the guy that we're going to hire his assistant? It's
You tell
Raheem
me.
Morris. I would actually love to be the defensive coordinator. I think he's a hell of a coach, Raheem Morris.
Yeah,
But you're going to hire Aziz Ari, who's or whatever his name is, and he's going to bring the Wade Phillips defense, the Fangio defense, the Brandon Staley defense, the Raheem Morris defense. Just stick to one. It
yeah,
doesn't matter.
they
And then,
can.
man, and then you're getting rid of you're getting rid of good assistant coaches like a Reggie Herring, a Mike Munchak, a Curtis Markins. Oh, and by the way, I just want to bring this tidbit to people that don't understand that how much of a deep level I look in this organization. Chris Cooper. Chris Cooper was the assistant offensive line coach for Mike Munchak. And where did Chris Cooper get hired? He is now the offensive line coach for the Minnesota Vikings with Curtis Markins. You got rid of one of the best guards to ever play the game. You could have just hired. You could have got rid of Munchak and be like, Cooper, you've been an assistant for years. It's your shot. Let's see what you can do. You can run this. You're going to run the same system as Munchak. You're going to run that zone blocking scheme. You fit the system that Hackett wants to supposedly run. Let's just promote you. Bam. You have your offensive line coach. And then you can bring a guy that you can develop as your next offensive line coach. Continue that development track with coaches as well. God, it's just annoying.
Yeah, I can't not see Kirk Cousins volunteering himself to come to the Broncos. He would have to be.
A few years ago when he said no to us.
Yeah, he would have to be literally kicked out the door or put in some kind of a trade deal that he wouldn't even want to begin with.
I heard he's not going to get traded. So
yeah, yeah, it doesn't seem like it's practical.
No, yep, absolutely.
Because they still have work to go before. I mean, they might as well just stick with him, keep working on the team, and maybe.
What have the Vikings been doing in the draft specifically over the past few years? Drafting offensive linemen to protect Cousins. So they're going to already get their next quarterback in place after Cousins, probably. They got Christian Darrisaw, one of the best right tackles in football, Brian O'Neill. And then they got Garrett Bradbury. I wouldn't say the best center in football, but he's a top 10 center. Better than Lloyd Cushenberry.
Yeah, I think the Broncos are in some serious, and I feel bad. I wish for Drew Lock's case, he could go to Pittsburgh or something like that. He could go to New Orleans, even though New Orleans lost Sean
Payton.
Sean Payton, yeah.
But I think Dennis Allen might be able to, keep that team afloat for a little bit.
That's what a lot of the Saints fans feel like too.
I like Dennis Allen. I liked him in Denver. I liked him as defense coordinator. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, who is your guy that you wanted to come here and be the head coach?
Jim Caldwell.
Yeah, where did he end up somewhere?
Nope.
Is it one of those race things?
Coach, he was the coach for the Detroit Lions and the Indianapolis Colts. When the Colts went to the Super Bowl, they had that offensive line protecting for Manning after Dungy left. and then they lost to the Saints in the Super Bowl with a really good Saints team. But I'm just saying, Jim Caldwell understands football. I love Jim Caldwell.
Well, Caldwell is a guy that you would have to have an organization from the top down that says we need somebody with a solid foundation philosophy to build from. So you're not going to get a Caldwell
guy. And then you could have brought in Raheem Morris as your defense coordinator or something. I mean, I love Caldwell. I liked his track record, even what he did at Detroit, taking him to 2 playoff appearances in the 3 or 4 years that he was there, and that offensive line was cooking. And I'm just saying that.
Well, you're saying where his building blocks, the foundation of his building blocks.
Yeah, Baltimore system.
Yeah. So anyway, I just want to conclude this. This doesn't have to be all that long, but I just want to conclude it that the whole go all out is just a cover story for throw more spaghetti at the wall.
And there are free agents out there.
Yes.
That make a lot of sense that we will not sign.
Now, okay, let's play their theory. Let's play their theory.
All right.
Aaron Rodgers comes to the Denver Broncos.
There goes cap space, number one.
Yeah, well, you paid those receivers.
Yep, and then you want to bring in Davante Adams, so he's going to ask for a lot of money. So and that's another thing. All your money is going to be predicated to that receiving core.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, and the funny thing is, this is the knock on Aaron Rodgers is in his playoff game, he didn't distribute the ball all over the place. He could have, but he just decided he was going to keep feeding Davante Adams, and it backfired in his face because they took it away from him.
And is Aaron? Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So again, I'm not a high on Aaron Rodgers either. For me, Aaron Rodgers is an over-glorified Joe Flacco. He's a mobile Joe Flacco. To me,
yeah.
He's a mobile Joe Flacco. And before you laugh and all this, look at the results. Yeah, okay, he's got one more MVP or whatever, but I mean, MVPs don't mean anything if you don't.
Manning won 5 MVPs and he only won 2 Super Bowls. So just saying.
Yeah.
For all the greatness, for all the love I have for Peyton Manning, but he didn't have that great of a playoff record either.
No. So like I said, get a team that can get you in the playoffs, and a quarterback that can, then you can go get a quarterback that, you feel that kind of takes you over the edge, but.
And I know I don't want to talk about free agency, but is it okay if I bring up 3 guys that I'd go after?
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. The guy that you wanted last year, Marcus Williams,
Mm-hmm.
I want. Okay, that's my number 1 guy.
Make sure you tell position, say position.
Free safety, Marcus Williams, free safety for the Saints.
Yeah, you'll not. Yeah, you won't. Yeah, because I wanted to get rid of Justin Simmons to bring him in.
Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. The guard from the Washington Commanders, Brandon Scherf from Iowa. He's one of the best guards in football. Top 3 guard in the game.
Well, they call them the Commanders now.
They're called the Commanders now.
Commanders and Thief. Okay.
Yeah. And my 3rd guy, this guy isn't going to get a lot of love, but he's a very underrated player. I wouldn't say underrated player, but he's a guy that you can give a 2 to 3, probably a 1 to 2 year contract on. He's going to come from the Falcons. Dante Fowler Jr., defensive end. If you had the right defensive line, you could pair him and Bradley Chubb, and you already had your defensive line in place. So guys like that, if we still had Vic Fangio, I think a guy we could go look is Akeem Hicks, but he's 32 years old, so he's past his prime. He's another Jarrell Casey, in my opinion, now.
Yeah.
But guys like that, Dante Fowler is a very unique player in his own right. He can play multiple positions on that front 7. He can play up. He can play the 4-3, the hand in the dirt technique, the 3 tech. He could play outside leverage tech at the defensive end position. And Dante Fowler's 27, so you can give him a 2-year contract and develop those lines, and Dante Fowler can be your Leonard Floyd with the Rams. That's how I view it.
It sounds like a player we'd never go for.
No.
It makes too much sense.
No, the 3 guys I brought up aren't guys we go after. Sorry.
I'm sure there's a receiver out there or a corner maybe.
Oh yeah. Oh man. This is the perfect Stefan Gilmore. That's a guy. That's an Elway player. He's 31, past his prime from the Patriots. I wouldn't be shocked if we go after a Calais Campbell. He's 35 years old and
Of course,
has
got Elway written all over that one.
and then a guy. There's actually one other guy I'd like to bring up, and his name is Ryan Jensen from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, center from Colorado. He's a top 3 center in the game. He's 30 years old, but he's way better than Lloyd Cushenberry, and I give him a 2-year contract. And
for development and try to draft
next center.
Yeah. Well, minors. He could try to develop minors.
Yep. I wouldn't be shocked if we go after Anthony Barr. He's 29 years old from the Vikings. Just putting the pieces together with what's his face, Peyton. Yeah, there's not a whole. There's a lot of underrated guys down at the bottom, but we probably will never go after the guys I just mentioned. Well, there'll be a big no on those.
We'll have to definitely break film down all next season and see what it is they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Continuity doesn't seem to be what's in the future here.
No, but what I'm going to try and get better at this year is I'm going to try and break down film on these draft prospects and these free agents again that I did last year. I'm going to try and provide better film analysis on them. Put my 2 cents into them, and guys that I hope I'll have hope being for these guys for days. I like these players that I mentioned. I think they can be very integral upgrades for development, but no, we'll never get those.
I think the draft will also tell us a lot about the mindset that's going on right now. Free agency will definitely tell us the mindset of what's going on there at Dove Valley. That's for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's something to look forward to. I'm going to probably post this after the Super Bowl is played.
Okay.
This video. We'll let the draft, keep running its course for a while.
All right.
But I just had to say something about this nonsense of go all in. I mean, they don't know what go all in is. They think it's go all in by getting Aaron Rodgers and then getting spaghetti, throwing it against the wall and see what sticks, because it's 2012 again, right? It's 2012 all over again. We're this close.
Yeah, do you guys not realize that we're going to be hamstrung in cap when we trade for those players? Do you guys understand that? That's why I look at it in a deeper level than just getting a fucking quarterback. I look at it and how it's going to hamstring your team, how it's going to hamstring player development, how it's going to hamstring your scouting department in terms of what they want, in terms
of what they can do, and it'll be a big mess. This team isn't ready. That's the problem. This team isn't even anywhere close to being ready. But the bright news, the silver lining, is that I just don't see it feasible. I don't see Aaron Rodgers coming here as even remotely feasible.
Well, I think what you just said hits the nail on the head. Is that I think the firing of Fangio set us back more than it put us forward.
That was the consensus the NFL had. Shermer should have never been brought in. We said that from the start. I mean,
should have developed the players.
Just stick with the system. You had Rich Scangarello, okay, and he
was thriving in that system.
Well, Locke was thriving, but I think it was always all about getting another has-been quarterback by Elway. That was because he can't see it any other way. The toxic fan base can't see it any other way. They've been literally programmed since 2015.
Of course they have.
So unfortunately, it's going to be some really bad days until finally somebody comes in and said, we've been doing it this way. We've got to do it a different way. And you guys are just going to have to suck it up.
Suck it up.
Yeah.
To do with their GM hire and their looks like that owner is going to stop meddling and let Daboll and the GM from the Bills, the assistant GM, do their job and build it the right way. So
that would be New York. That would be New York Giants.
Giants. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Giants.
Laugh now.
Yeah,
Laugh
I
now.
know. I know. Just like Detroit. Laugh now. Laugh now, little D.
Yep. Little D.
All right. All right. I'm going to kick it and get yelled at for doing this podcast. Take care.
You might need that yacht more than me.
I know to get away.
All right. Take care.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.